Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. I welcome you to the AQ guidance session that is hosted by SCAN Academy. I'm going to be your mentor for this session. So let's start with a little about me. I'm Samin Anjiani. I'm a first year medical student at Dow Medical College and I qualified both the AQ entry test and the interview. I come from an FSC background basically. मैंने A levels O levels नहीं किए. I have an FSC background और मेरा MD score was 170 out of 180. अच्छा, most common questions that I get asked is कि आपने DAO क्यों choose की और AQ if you had the option. तो I will answer that question at the end. तो उस वजह से stay tuned. अच्छा, this session इसमें basically we will talk about कि AQ क्या है, what are the advantages of going to AQ, what are the different procedures that AQ has before we can enter the university. उसमें आती है टेस्ट, ठीक है. There are different segments to the test. हम डिस्कस करेंगे कि कौन से different segments होते हैं and how we can approach the different segment. Math reasoning, कौन से book हम use कर सकते हैं, कौन सी resources, कौन से past papers we can use. एंड उसके बाद वी विल टॉक अबाउट द पोस्ट टेस्ट थिंग्स कि उनमें कौन सी चीज़ें आ जाती है, सच एज स्टेज 2 फॉर्म्स होते हैं, ECAs लिस्ट करने होते हैं उनमें. एंड वी विल टॉक अबाउट कि मेरे ECAs क्या थे. एंड वी विल टॉक अबाउट कि इंटरव्यूज़ कैसे होते हैं, व्हाट क्वेश्चंस वी आर आस्क्ड इन द इंटरव्यूज़, स्कॉलरशिप कैसे मिलती है, एंड व्हाट इज़ फाइनेंशियल एड एंड एवरीथिंग अबाउट इट. सो दिस आई होप दिस सेशन विल बी रियली हेल्पफुल फॉर those fellows that are preparing for AQ. So grab yourself a cup of chai and get cozy and let's enjoy this session together. अच्छा, तो मैंने यहाँ पे पूरा AQ का रोड मैप एज अ पिक्टोरल डायग्राम दिया हुआ है. वी स्टार्ट विद द AQ एंट्री टेस्ट, ठीक है. आपकी एंट्री टेस्ट होगी आई थिंक फॉर दिस ईयर इट इज़ ऑन July 5th एंड उसके बाद इफ़ यू क्लियर द टेस्ट you will move on to the stage 2 form, ठीक है. स्टेज 2 फॉर्म और स्टेज 2 प्रोसीजर्स जिसमें इंटरव्यूज़ वगैरह भी आते हैं. एंड दिस इज़ द होल रोड मैप, जस्ट आई ओवर इट एंड वी विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. अच्छा, मैंने यहाँ पे की डेट्स दिए हुए हैं फॉर दिस ईयर साइकिल. द टेस्ट विल बी ऑन July 5th और बाकी जो भी इंपॉर्टेंट डेट्स हैं फॉर शॉर्ट लिस्टिंग ऑफ कैंडिडेट्स फॉर इंटरव्यू एटसेट्रा एवरीथिंग इसमें दी हुई है. इफ़ यू वांट टू गेट दिस इमेज, ये बेसिकली क्योंकि वेबसाइट पे दी हुई है इन द एडमिशन ब्रोशर, आप वेबसाइट पे जा सकते हैं और डाउनलोड द ब्रोशर फ्रॉम देयर, ठीक है. एडमिशन्स आर स्टिल ओपन May 13 तक. तो जिन्होंने अभी तक अपनी एडमिशन नहीं करवाई है via the portal, then go ahead and do that. अच्छा, AQ एंट्री टेस्ट की बात करने से पहले लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द रिक्वायरमेंट्स दैट यू नीड टू मेंटेन टू गेट इनटू AQ. तो जो स्टूडेंट्स FSC बैकग्राउंड से बिलोंग करते हैं तो उनकी जो इंटरमीडिएट के बोर्ड्स या मैट्रिक के बोर्ड्स के अंदर जो उनका परसेंटेज होना चाहिए शुड बी एटलीस्ट 70%, ठीक है. इफ़ इट इज़ बिलो 70% यू आर नॉट एलिजिबल टू अप्लाई टू AQ. और बाकी जो स्टूडेंट्स ब्रिटिश इक्विवेलेंट सिस्टम में बिलोंग करते हैं सच एज O levels and A levels, तो द रिक्वायरमेंट्स आर रिटन राइट हियर, यू कैन रीड देम. Another important requirement is that कि अगर MD CAT दे रहे हैं तो you have to pass it. The score doesn't matter कि अगर 130 140 भी आ जाते हैं you can still get into AQ. They do not look at that. तो the sole deciding factor उनके लिए है कि आपने AQ का खुद का जो प्रोसीजर है वो पास किया है, then that is the only thing that I look at. I have some friends and batchmates, same year people from AQ. I know कि some of them just got in AQ with just passing marks in MD-CAT. So the score doesn't matter, just, but I would suggest कि you prepare really well for MD-CAT because one cannot really tell what their fate holds, ठीक है. मूविंग ऑन. अच्छा, अब AQ की टेस्ट पैटर्न के बारे में बात करते हैं. तो जो टेस्ट है ना बेसिकली कंसिस्ट ऑफ 100 MCQs और वो जो 100 MCQs हैं दे आर डिवाइडेड इनटू 2 पोर्शंस, ठीक है. वो 2 पोर्शंस कौन से हैं? दे आर साइंस अचीवमेंट एंड साइंस रीजनिंग एंड मैथ्स रीजनिंग, ठीक है. तो यू हैव टू पास बोथ ऑफ दिस पोर्शन सेपरेटली. अगर एक भी आप फेल करते हैं ना, यू फेल द होल थिंग, तो This is the pattern is really different from MDCAT. Let's discuss the both these questions separately. तो साइंस अचीवमेंट में MDCAT टाइप क्वेश्चंस होते हैं. There are biology, chemistry and physics, or one and another change that is different from MDCAT and AQ की साइंस अचीवमेंट वाला जो पोर्शन है ना उसमें 0.25 नेगेटिव मार्किंग होती है, और साइंस रीजनिंग एंड मैथ्स रीजनिंग में नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं होती. ठीक है, साइंस रीजनिंग एंड मैथ्स रीजनिंग के बारे में ज़्यादा डिटेल में बाद में जाएंगे, और लेट्स डिस्कस अबाउट साइंस अचीवमेंट फर्स्ट. अच्छा हाँ, आई फॉरगॉट टू टेल यू वन थिंग. जो स्प्लिट है ना MCQs का, इट चेंजेस एवरी ईयर. 2024 में साइंस अचीवमेंट में 50 MCQs थे और साइंस एंड मैथ रीजनिंग में 50 थे, तो इट वाज अ 50-50 स्प्लिट. पर 2025 में जब हमने टेस्ट दिया था, the split changed in the, I believe, the last month, on the last day. So it changed to 40 MCQs in science achievement and 60 MCQs in science reasoning and maths reasoning. So keep in mind, AQ is, not to be quirky with their pattern. They can change it anytime they want, but it is usually a 50-50 split or 40-60 split. अच्छा, how to approach science achievement. Science achievement, I would say कि it resembles a lot with MDCAT. Only exception is that कि वहाँ पे ज़्यादा syllabus है in AQ, and there is negative marking. So if you're preparing really well for MDCAT and your MDCAT chapters and the concepts are really well, तो आपकी science achievement you will score really good. ठीक है. The approach you should follow, to get a good score in science achievement is कि keep MDCAT as your main goal. अगर आप MDCAT की तैयारी करते हैं ना, तो 70% of your preparation for AQ is already done. ठीक है. Only thing that you should do side by side is that कि आप MDCAT की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, तो take some time for the extra syllabus and extra material there is, and do that. ठीक है. That is the most important approach there is. अच्छा, एक्स्ट्रा सिलेबस करने का भी एक तरीका है. ठीक है. यू डोंट हैव टू डू ऑल ऑफ द जो भी न्यू टॉपिक्स हैं दैट आर नॉट प्रेजेंट इन MDCAT. यू डोंट हैव टू डू ऑल ऑफ देम. ठीक है. आई वुड सजेस्ट कि आप हाई यील्ड्स जो है ना, यू शुड लुक इनटू हाई यील्ड्स पहले, एंड यू शुड लर्न एंड यू शुड डू MCQs ऑन देम फर्स्ट. आई हैव लिस्टेड some high yields here. You can take a screenshot or write them down. For biology, there are cell, enzyme, biological molecules, kingdoms, genetics, technology, nutrition, etc. जो भी हैं, you can read all of these out. You should do these first. ठीक है, क्योंकि AQ is more likely to test these, और the syllabus is so vast कि you cannot do all of it. Trust me, you have to maintain your preparation for MDCAT side by side. तो उस वजह से do high yields. The high yields for chemistry are here. Write them down. For physics as well. अच्छा, what books to use for science achievement. ठीक है. AQ is known to really prefer PTB and FTB. अगर आप syllabus भी देखें AQ का, तो the whole syllabus, the chapter names, I believe they resemble PTB के chapter names, and the syllabus I just feel like कि PTB और FTB से ज़्यादा oriented है. तो if you are an STB student, तो थोड़ा सा आप क्या करें. ठीक है, आपने लेट्स से MDCAT में एक चैप्टर पढ़ लिया है फॉर एंड योर कॉन्सेप्ट्स आर रियली वेल, तो बस PTB का बुक खोल लें, एंड FTB अगर टाइम नहीं है तो सिर्फ एक ही खोल लें, PTB खोल लें. ठीक है. तो न्यू जो चैप्टर है ना, यू शुड रीड इट आउट, और जो भी न्यू पॉइंट्स है ना, यू शुड राइट दैट डाउन ऑन अ स्टिकी नोट. ठीक है. एंड your whole sticky note will be full of new points that are in PTB or FTB, and then stick that sticky note on your STB book. ठीक है. तो इससे क्या होगा, you will have knowledge from PTB, and when you are revising through your STB book, तो you will not forget कि PTB FTB में क्या पढ़ा था. अच्छा, वो चैप्टर जो आपने MDCAT में पढ़े ही नहीं है, how are you supposed to do them. ठीक है. तो the approach I would say कि जैसे बायोलॉजी में किंगडम्स हैं, और आई थिंक दैट इज़ द ओनली मेजर थिंग जो MDCAT में नहीं है, तो यूज़ PTB फॉर दैट, और यू कैन यूज़ FTB. इट्स अप टू प्रेफरेंस, एंड यूज़ द मेक शॉर्ट नोट्स और वॉट एवर इज़ योर स्टडी मेथड. बस यू शुड डू किंगडम्स की दिस because they are really high yield. ठीक है. For chemistry, जो भी एक्स्ट्रा syllabus है and it is in the high yield, you should do from PTB or FTB and use the sticky note method just like I told you. अच्छा, for physics I don't think कि you need to touch any other book other than a provincial book, because you know कि फिज़िक्स में मोस्टली कॉन्सेप्ट्स ही होते हैं, तो द कॉन्सेप्ट बुक्स में वेरी नहीं करते, वो सेम ही चीज़ होती है, बट थियोरेटिकल लाइंस चेंज हो सकती है, लेकिन आई डोंट थिंक कि इतना फ़र्क पड़ता है. जस्ट स्टिक टू योर प्रोविंशियल बुक एंड मास्टर दैट. अच्छा, प्रैक्टिस रिसोर्सेज फॉर साइंस अचीवमेंट में नो एज आई सेड कि साइंस अचीवमेंट रिजेंबल्स अ लॉट विद MD-CAT MCQs, तो यू शुड यूज़ द रिसोर्सेज जो आप MD-CAT में यूज़ कर रहे हैं. For extra syllabus and for the extra chapters questions, it can be a little tricky to find MCQs. So if you want really good compiled MCQs by me that I believe are really high yield, and I see कि past papers में ज़्यादा आ रहे हैं, you can join the full session. I will tell you how to join the full session at the end of the video. So these are the resources that you can use. You can also use KIPS. It is I personally found them really useful. But if you join the full session, I can give you a compiled resource of all, KIPS, MCQs, SKN, and whatever I found useful. Achha, one more major thing, just like I told you, कि there is negative marking. This is really important. ठीक है, you should keep this in mind, and this is the main thing that differentiates for MD-CAT and your test approach. ठीक है, in MD-CAT आप तो तुक्के मार के सही कर देते हैं, but that is not how you are supposed to get it here. तो अगर कोई क्वेश्चन, अच्छा, I will tell you a trick how to कौन से क्वेश्चन स्किप करने हैं, कौन से मार्क करने हैं. तो there are four options. ठीक है, तो let's say अगर क्वेश्चन है किंगडम्स में है, किसी से एनिमल्स का नाम पूछ रहा है, you don't completely know it. ठीक है, आपको आता ही नहीं है, you cannot possibly guess it. ठीक है, तो you should definitely skip that. ठीक है. But if you are able to narrow the question down to two options कि यार ये दो तो पक्के नहीं है, ठीक है, लेकिन ये दो there is a slight doubt in that, तो if you are able to narrow it down to two options, then it's a better, there's better odds, 50-50 odds, and then you can choose. So educated guesses मार सकते हैं, लेकिन you shouldn't ऐसा नहीं करना है कि you are not skipping any questions. I had this friend जिसने I was 100% certain कि उसका AQ में हो जाएगा and he would clear the test, पर उसने क्या गलती की थी, he didn't skip any questions, तो उससे क्या हुआ कि he lost a lot of marks. ठीक है, तो you are not supposed to do that. You are supposed to skip questions जो नहीं आते. That is the strategy. अच्छा, moving on to the next segment of that comes after science achievement, that is science reasoning and maths reasoning. ठीक है, इस पोर्शन में ये है कि देयर इज़ नो नेगेटिव मार्किंग, तो यू कैन मेक एजुकेटेड गेसेस एज मच एज यू वांट, पर दिस पोर्शन आई बिलीव इज़ द पोर्शन जहाँ पे मोस्ट स्टूडेंट्स फेल करते हैं. इफ़ यू आर एन इम्प्रूवर जिसने AQ लास्ट ईयर दी थी एंड यू कुडंट मेक इट, आई एम प्रीटी श्योर कि दिस इज़ द पोर्शन दैट फेल्ड यू, एंड आई एम श्योर कि साइंस अचीवमेंट में आपका हो गया था. आई बिलीव द रीज़न बिहाइंड दैट इज़ कि जो साइंस अचीवमेंट है, इट रिजेंबल्स अ लॉट विद MD-CAT, और इट इज़ रियली प्रिडिक्टेबल एंड मैचेस विद MD-CAT, तो उसकी आपकी अच्छी तैयारी हो जाती है. पर जो साइंस रीजनिंग एंड मैथ्स रीजनिंग पोर्शन है ना, इन साइंस रीजनिंग द क्वेश्चंस दे रिक्वायर अ लॉट ऑफ क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, और इफ़ यू हैव एन high IQ and you can critically think through the questions, then you have a higher advantage. But you can still practice for it, and I will show you how to practice for it, and you can still score really good. So let's start with science reasoning. ठीक है, science reasoning में I will explain to you the pattern. ठीक है, it keeps changing every other year. IQ is not consistent. Last year I believe there were questions from resembled science achievement, but the questions were really ramped up. Let's say biology में questions थे, chemistry में questions थे, and physics से भी questions थे, लेकिन they were really ramped up, and I felt कि A levels type questions हैं. And ऐसा भी नहीं है कि A level students have an advantage over you. अगर you practice really well for these questions, you can get them easily. It's just that कि the questions are really ramped up but not unsolvable. ठीक है, अच्छा हाँ, if your MDCAT concepts are really strong in several chapters, तो you definitely have the high upper hand here. और इसको ज़्यादा प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए आई विल टेल यू रिसोर्सेज. अच्छा, हाउ टू प्रिपेयर फॉर साइंस रीजनिंग. ठीक है, जस्ट लाइक आई सेड कि अगर एम डी कैट के कॉन्सेप्ट्स आर रियली स्ट्रॉन्ग, यू डोंट रियली नीड टू प्रिपेयर अ लॉट, बिकॉज यू नो क्वेश्चंस सेम ही होते हैं, जस्ट द डिफ़िकल्टी लेवल इज़ हायर. तो पर्सनली मैंने प्रिपेयर कैसे किया था, आई यूज़ टू डू राइट स्पॉट एम सी क्यूज बुक्स. बेसिकली 3 बुक्स आती हैं फॉर बायोलॉजी, केमिस्ट्री एंड फिज़िक्स. तो आई यूज़ दीज टू प्रिपेयर फॉर साइंस रीजनिंग. इनमें बेसिकली एम डी कैट के चैप्टर्स होते हैं, बट द क्वेश्चंस आर फ्रॉम ए लेवल्स, तो स्लाइटली हार्डर. पर इनसे क्या होता है, दीज आर रियली हेल्पफुल. ठीक है, इफ़ यू डू अ क्वेश्चन, इट विल ओपन सो मैनी perspectives of that topic to you, and you will be like यार ये इस तरह से भी सॉल्व हो सकता है क्या. then you know it develops critical thinking. That is, you know, our sole reason to be solving these MCQs कि you develop your critical thinking. अच्छा, आपने इन बुक्स में सिर्फ वही चैप्टर करने हैं जो AQ के सिलेबस में है, और यू आर नॉट सपोज टू गो आउट ऑफ योर वे एंड डू ऑल ऑफ दिस जो MD कैट सिलेबस और AQ सिलेबस में है. यू आर सपोज टू डू ओनली दोज चैप्टर्स. अच्छा, स्टार्टिंग में इट विल बी रियली वियर्ड कि यार ये किस तरह के क्वेश्चन है, समझ ही नहीं आ रहे. तो यू आर नॉट सपोज टू गेट डीमोटिवेटेड. ये क्वेश्चंस यू आर सपोज टू लर्न अलॉन्ग द वे. ठीक है, आई विल गिव एन एग्जांपल. इफ़ यू स्टार्ट बायोलॉजी राइट स्पॉट बुक, यू विल सी कि कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स एंड देयर टेस्ट, जो डिफरेंट टेस्ट होती हैं कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स को आइडेंटिफाई करने वाली, दे विल बी दैट. यू विल बी लाइक यार ये तो एम डी कैट में है ही नहीं, हमने पढ़े ही नहीं है. बट यू आर सपोज टू लर्न देम. ठीक है, यू सपोज टू मेक नोट्स. जो क्वेश्चन समझ नहीं आ रहा, गलत हो रहा है, यू आर सपोज टू लर्न द कॉन्सेप्ट बिहाइंड इट, ऑल द टेस्ट, जस्ट लाइक आई गेव द एग्जाम्पल, and learn along the way. That is the best way to approach science reasoning and develop critical thinking. Same thing goes for physics. You know, kinematics, dynamics, all these chapters आपने MD कैट में तो बहुत अच्छे से पढ़े हैं. I'm pretty sure अगर कॉन्सेप्ट अच्छे हैं then you can easily solve A levels questions, but it's that की critical thinking develop करनी, that is our sole purpose. Alternatives, there are our parents की साथ की book. A lot of other students have done it too. Personally, I didn't use it. I think Red Spot is a high yield and underrated material. अच्छा, I will give you another example, just to motivate कि ये book करना है आपने. In chemistry portion of the AQ test, जो I believe science reasoning में था, so there was literally a question that was copy pasted from the Red Spot chemistry book. I believe it was in acid base. It was a diagram. ठीक है, the question wasn't the exactly same, but जो graph था ना, it was slightly varied, but the question statement was the same. So that is the thing कि they just followed the same pattern, slightly ramped up the diagram and made adjustment to the numerical values. So the questions from these books can appear in the science reasoning portion, and that's why you should do them. Or if you are worried ki how can I prepare the best even if I do Red Spot, if agar usse bhi questions nahi aate, then what can I do? You can join my full session for AQ. I will compile MCQs from Red Spot, from parents, from the past papers and the sample tests, and I will send them to you chapter wise and for science reasoning. So let's move on to the next portion. So moving to maths reasoning. Maths reasoning में basically सवाल basic maths से ही आते हैं up to what you read in 10th grade. I will show you कि कौन से topics आ सकते हैं. So these are the topics जो I believe are most commonly tested in AQ's maths reasoning portion. Percentage, ratio, money problems, age related problems, set. You can read all of these out. These are the high yields of math. और बाकी इतने हार्ड भी नहीं होते. अगर आपने if your math is strong and you have done it really well up to 10th grade just like I had done, so you don't need to prepare a lot. You just need to revise कि क्या पढ़ा है, because 10th grade में क्या पढ़ा था किसको याद होता है. तो just for revision, अगर math strong है तो there's this book I would recommend. It is called SAT Math by College Panda. There are 27 chapters in it and all of them are really important for AQ. I believe अगर आप इस book से you do all of the chapters, you will be easily acing the maths portion of AQ. अच्छा, this book is good because कि इसमें everything is explained so well. It's like, it feels like you are reading a novel. ठीक है. और जो questions हैं, the practice questions are really good. At least 2 to 3 practice questions होते हैं in the after you read the chapter. तो इससे ज़्यादा practice करने की need नहीं है. और हाँ, अगर चैप्टर पढ़ रहे हो, अगर समझ नहीं आ रहा है एंड you want to clear your concepts before you read the book and attempt the practice questions, so you should watch lectures from, you can use any random academy or random video on that topic, or you can specifically use Khan Academy. It is a really useful resource that most students used. Personally, I didn't need to watch it because my maths was really strong, so I just only did this book in a month. You can do it in a month as well if you do a single chapter every day. There are 27 chapters, so you will be able to practice all of it in a single month. Or if you want even better MCQs that are compiled from past papers, from different resources, from Science Math and other books, then you can join the full session and I will be sharing them with you chapter wise. These are the high yield specifications. You can read them out again. Another useful resource and useful preparing strategy is doing mocks. Do a lot of mocks. ठीक है. AQ syllabus इतना vast है, you cannot, just like I said, you cannot do all of it. तो when you do mocks तो आपको अंदाज़ा हो जाता है कि कौन से topics ज़्यादा tested हैं, कौन से ज़्यादा high yields हैं, और what are your weak points. तो AQ is not like MDCAT. You cannot perfect it. You have to make the best use of your time. तो do mocks. It will reveal to you so many things. It will reveal your weak spots and weak chapters, and जो भी questions गलत होते हैं, किस chapter में गलत हो रहे हैं, किस वजह से गलत हो रहे हैं, analyze all of them and perfect them. ठीक है. That is another useful strategy. And mocks should be started 1 to 1.5 months before the entry test, and you should do them regularly or every other day. They are really useful. अच्छा, mocks कहाँ से मिले? Mocks के यार, I use multiple resources, but I don't think कि कोई इतने अच्छे बनाता है. It's not good to call out the name, but personally I was not satisfied with any of the mocks that are present in the on the internet right now. But if you want really useful mocks and compiled mock tests that I found from the questions I found useful and I believe are high yield for maths, reasoning, science achievement, all those compiled into mock tests, you can join the full session and they will be given to you on a timely schedule basis before the entry test, so that your preparation is really up to par. So one more thing, AQ की test itself is not inherently that hard. ठीक है. What is the thing that fails a lot of students? It is that they are not able to manage their time. ठीक है. The questions, if you sit for 2 to 3 hours, you are able to solve all of it or mostly get a good score or get a passing score on your own. But वहाँ पे जितना टाइम मिलता है ना, it is really hard to do all of those questions in such a short period of time. तो यहाँ पे वो student excel करता है जिसकी calculation fast होती है and he has a really good practice over that topic and you can do MCQs really fast. So definitely work on your time management. I cannot emphasize on this enough. And definitely do time mocks. ऐसा टेस्ट के बाद वाली चीज़ों की बात करते हैं. So if you're lucky enough to clear the AQ test, you will be among the pool of 300 to 350 students जो shortlist होते हैं for stage 2 और they proceed to the interviews and the other जो भी procedures होते हैं. तो a lot of students ask me कि passing marks क्या होती हैं. Passing marks basically नहीं होती है, cutoffs सेम नहीं होती है हर ईयर. इट इज़ डिफरेंट एवरी ईयर. इट डिपेंड्स कि टेस्ट कितना हार्ड है. अगर इफ़ द टेस्ट वाज रियली हार्ड तो द कट ऑफ विल बी रियली लो, और अगर इफ़ द टेस्ट इज़ रियली easy then the test will be, the passing cutoff will be really high. So they basically want to select just 300 to 350 students, so that is how the cutoff fluctuates. uh, for us, I cannot exactly remember cutoff kya tha. I believe it was around 65, or it was below, few points below 65 per in both the sections. ठीक है. पर in 2024, I believe in maths and science reasoning the cutoff was 85%, क्योंकि उस year maths portion was really easy, तो cutoff really high था. और science achievement में the cutoff was the usual 65. तो the cutoff varies every year. Just keep in mind, अगर test hard है तो the cutoff will be really low. If the test is really easy, then the cutoff will be really high. After you have cleared the test, उसके बाद the next procedure they will do is ask you for your extracurriculars in their stage 2 forms. ठीक है. तो the most common question in this stage 2 and ECS form is that how important are ECS and can I get in without strong ECS. So the answer to this is कि यार AQ, its screening is really holistic. मतलब they check you from head to toe कि how you are as a person, how you are academically. तो अगर अगर ECS strong भी नहीं है ना, then it's not completely impossible कि क्यों नहीं हो सकता. You can still get in, and I know people that have gotten in without strong ECS. So don't really worry about that. Just prepare really well for your AQ entry test. But it can play a role. So if you have strong ECS, then there are higher chances. Now, just for the sake of answering the question ki what were my ECS, so I have multiple gold awards in writing competitions and creative writing. I had done projects in electronics, and I've built humanoid robots, piezoelectric highways, that stuff that generates electric, and all that scientific stuff. They also look at your hobbies. I do art. I'm an artist. I have a lot of other smaller quirky hobbies as well. So just for your idea, that was my ECAs. But if you do not have strong ECAs, you can still get in. It doesn't matter. If you have a stronger test score, then you can get in. The interviews basically दो interviews होते हैं back to back after you submit your extracurricular forms and they review your extracurriculars. तो the interviews इतने hard नहीं होते. Personally I feel like कि chill conversations ही होती हैं. They question you about your ECAs, आपकी hobbies पे आपसे conversation करेंगे. They see कि हाँ वाकई क्या ये बंदा interested है अपनी hobbies में, and how passionate is he about his hobbies, and how passionate is he about being a doctor. Is he really wanting to become a doctor by himself, or is he being forced by someone? तो इस तरह के questions पूछे जाते हैं. तो don't really worry about them. Just answer honestly, and interviews easily हो जाएंगे. अच्छा, interviews is a vast topic itself. If you join the full session, I will be guiding you more on all of these stage 2 forms में भी help करूँगा. Interviews might even take your mocks for interviews. So if you want all that, you can join the full session and I will help you out with everything, give you resources कहाँ से interviews के लिए prep करते हैं. तो there's that. I cannot really summarize all of the interview portion in this single segment, so that's why. अच्छा हाँ, they can also ask really tricky questions and push you, but don't worry about them. They are just trying to see कि pressure में कैसे hold कर सकते हो. They will ask you medical ethics के questions, so you might have to prepare for that as well. Even I did. So there's that. अच्छा, now comes the portion of scholarship and financial aid. तो there's this myth कि अगर क्योंकि टेस्ट में आपके अच्छे मार्क्स नहीं आते तो you cannot get financial aid. That myth is completely wrong. ठीक है. Financial aid is given to anybody that passes their interviews, their entry tests, goes through the whole procedure. They will give it to anybody, and it entirely depends on your financial background. If you show absolute need कि I cannot literally attend AQ if I don't get this financial aid, then they will definitely give you financial aid, and it is usually very generous. ठीक है. Financial aid is offered in two ways. ठीक है. It's a portion of your aid will be grant. Grant will not be paid back, ठीक है, it's literally they are waiving off your fee in that portion. और दूसरा ये है कि they will give you a loan, ठीक है. The loan you will have to pay back after 2 years after graduating, and you can pay it back in installments or whatever way you want. So that is how you get financial aid. Other than the financial aid that is given to everyone, there is one more thing that is called the entrance scholarship. जो scholarship everyone talks about, it is this entrance scholarship जो मिलती है only top 5 students को. It is merit cum need, ठीक है. merit में they look at your entry test score, how well you have performed in your interviews, and what are your ECAs, how you are, they will screen you holistically, how you are as a person. Plus you need to show need. That is the requirement for the entrance scholarship. It is only given to 5 students, and it can be renewed every year. If you stay in the top 15 of your class, if you drop below the top 15, then you will not be able to renew your scholarship, and you will have to pay the fees. But you can still apply to financial aid without having to apply for this scholarship. Before concluding this session, I will address the question that I promised to answer at the start of this session कि आपने DAO क्यों choose की if you had the option to go to AQ. तो यार basically the reason behind that for me is कि अगर मेरा DAO में ना हुआ होता ना, I would definitely have gotten into AQ. तो DAO is equally as good as AQ in its faculty, in its research. It's the same level as AQ is, and merit, it is the top ranked university on the merit based, not private, ठीक है. तो the financial aid I got from AQ was really generous, but I still felt like it would put a burden on my family. So for that sole reason I chose DAO over AQ, and I don't regret the decision because DAO is really good, and I have all the opportunities I would have in AQ, I have it here. So I am going to make the best of my finances, and I'm going to use the money I saved for USMLE, because that was also a consideration I made कि if I put all of my money into AQ, then I won't have money left to do USMLE. So that is the reason behind my decision over choosing DAO. I would recommend कि if you want more guidance on all of these portions, the entry test, if you want compiled MCQs in the science achievement portion, chapter wise, science reasoning, maths reasoning, also chapter wise, that will be compiled from high yields, past paper, sample tests, and handpicked by me. You should join the full session. The prices should be visible on the screen right now, and I will also prepare mock tests for you, and I will also guide you further on interviews, what kind of questions that are asked, and I will might even host mock tests for the students that get selected in the test, and I will be guiding you from start to finish. So if you're interested, you should join the full session. The price should be on the screen right now. And thank you so much. I hope you found this session helpful for you, and you learned a thing or two. And if you want more guidance sessions like this, you should join the full session. Thank you.